break through an innovative phone with 1xBet app. With 1xBet app, you can register and start betting in just one click. Intuitive interface and thousands of sports events every day. User-friendly app. Big wins, fast payouts.
Welcome, welcome, welcome back, one and all. We are here for some more RES Unchained action as we are about to witness the final qualifying match between Na'Vi and Team Yandex to claim a spot at Blast Season 5. My name is Snare, and I'm going to be joined by the maven of analysis, the wisest woman in Dota. It's the homie Kips. Long time no see, gang. How's it going?
Yeah, it's been a really long time, and I mean, as far as that title goes, I think I'd want to share the podium. Like we have several other incredible ladies in the scene, but I try my best. Listen, man, I'm just happy to be here. I'm a long time no see to you too.
Hey. I'm excited for a couple of reasons for the game. Obviously, we know that there's some very high-skilled players in the squad, but for me, it sort of feels like a turning point for both of these teams, right? Going into the new season. For Na'Vi, you know, they tried the whole thing of just a bunch of young dudes under the captaincy of Zayax, got to TI, got clapped, and they realized, all right, guys, things are serious. Can't play around no more. Let's get a coach into the mix. And you already see the immediate impact that CY has been able to have on the team. They're still playing very well, but a lot more consistent in some of these performances. And you can see it reflected here that Mouse series honestly could have gone either way. So not too surprising to see them in the finals, given how the run has been looking.
Yeah, I mean, I have to put a footnote there, right? Is that that Mouse series could have gone either way if Na'Vi hadn't kneecapped themselves by letting through the mid-1 Nature's Prophet in Game 2. It was completely self-inflicted, and presumably they have a score to settle with themselves for today.
No, but it's all good. If the mess up was the draft, that's even better because the coach can take the fall and say, guys, that was my bad. Just make sure you keep your heads in the game next time around. Of course, that Mouse squad also beat Team Yandex, right? Both of them ended up falling to Mouse. Yandex lost in the first round, but they've been climbing. You know, doing one of those classic lower bracket runs. You don't get to see them all that often nowadays, but, you know, Watson has, of course, pulled out many of those throughout his career. Do you think this is a blip in the pan, or do you think they would have been able to make it in the upper bracket if they didn't face Mouse initially?
No, because I think you would have, if you didn't face Mouse, you're going to be facing Na'Vi, and I do think that they are the favorites here for sure. And I also have this, like, if you look at the way that Yandex played still at the start of this tournament versus towards the end, they have definitely had really slow games in between, and they've gone less and less as the tournament has gone on. So they've really picked up the pace. But nobody in this tournament is faster than either Na'Vi or Mouse. So they're going to have to be playing at their fastest today, and we're going to see if that means they'll catch up to Na'Vi or not.
I mean, that's a good point about like the speed of the games. I noticed that initially as well. To be fair, I wasn't too surprised. I felt like having Watson and Noticed on the same team, yeah, you're going to have long games. You know, you can't expect to speed things up with those two being involved. But I'm glad that they have been able to figure it out, play a little bit faster. Because I don't think you'll win a late game against Na'Vi. Like, Na'Vi is a pretty tough team. They like to be playing this super high tempo early on. You know, between 10 and 20 minutes, Zayax does not want to be in a lane. He wants to be in your face, trying to make things happen and open up the map.
Yeah, but I think the interesting about Yandex is you're bringing up Watson and Noticed, right? But for me, the real tempo has been on Problems, who has had a couple of games now where he completely takes over. Especially in the first night period, like as soon as the lights go down, this man, well, becomes a problem. He's had a phenomenal support Alchemist game earlier in the tournament. He's had, I mean, to be fair, you're not supposed to allow anybody to get Marcy, but he also did a Marcy stomp.
It's always lovely when you see somebody actually get those heroes that are reliably banned out, to see why we keep banning them out. Because I think sometimes even as Dota players, people forget. They're like, what's so busted about this? Especially when you get into those eras of Dota where a hero gets banned all the time, but people forget to pick it. So good for him for reminding everybody. We'll see if Na'Vi are going to let that through. Of course, this is the young squad who thankfully They did not do what we've seen over the years for young squads who get smashed at TI. They stuck together, Kips. They realized that they are more powerful as a unit than they are separately. And now that with the coaching help of CY, a guy who's been able to help bring teams into the grand finals of TI, I feel like the sky is the limit for the squad. And the crazy part is they're all so young, they're still going to get better.
I know, right? I mean, I said it yesterday as well, but Niku, that's if you really think about it, Niku was playing in most tournaments. I can't say illegally because it's not the law, but this guy was too young. You're supposed to be 16, and what you do is you just go into the tournament anyway, and you don't tell the admin that your mid player is barely in high school. So
Just keep telling guys, birth certificates have been lost. Who knows? These things are all up in the air right now. I will say Niku has been, of the new crop of younger mid players, I think he's by far the standout one. He's been not just impressive mechanically, because a lot of them are, but he's been very consistent. And I think you don't often get to see that. Very often you'll see some of these new players, like let's say when you play as Ember Spirit, I'll see Niku lose the lane on Ember and still have an impact in the game, which is not often the thing that you get out of the younger mid players who kind of need the early juice of the laning phase to have an adequate mid game.
yeah, he seems really resilient, and the stereotypes like, oh, these young players, they're so aggressive, but Niku is really just on another level of that as well. Like the moves that he makes and how early he's prepared to rotate, just if he has the hero for it, say the Primal Beast, or for example the Monkey King on these heroes, like, yeah, if I can leave the lane before 6 and get a kill already, he's just gonna do it. He will.
That's actually a good point about leaving the lane early on. One thing I've also noticed from Yandex is they've been trying to experiment more with playing Watson on his Ursa. So giving him less of an overall hard carry, giving him that Ursa, allowing him to move quickly across the map. And I'll say personally, for me, it felt like they're more impressive performances when he was able to do that. So I do kind of hope, it doesn't have to be Ursa in particular, could be the Sven or something else like this, but I hope that Yandex does get some up-tempo hero to play with. I don't want to be here for 60 minutes. I want game one to be a slobber knocker, 45 minutes, 80 kills, let's go. That's what I want to see in this game.
Well, you might just get it, because if Yandex doesn't follow the pace, then Navi will grant you all of your wishes.
Well, we'll see what they do here. We're about to get into our draft. Navi had themselves, as usual, it's Radiant that has first pick, Dire side has second pick. Yandex playing on Dire, and thankfully, doing the right thing. First phase, no Chen for Mallet, or no Chen for Navi, no Marcy at all, and thank God for Navi. I appreciate you, gang, making sure Malady is not playing Naga Siren. I really, really love you for that one. Thank you.
I wonder if he would have, but because the rest of this tournament has seen remarkably little Naga Siren, and I don't know how it's been on your side of things. You've been swimming in a different pool of games, I think. But
too much Naga, too much. Any Naga is too much Naga.
Oh, true. No, we've had Tusk as an extremely major force here. Of course, Snapfire in a lot of games. Earthshaker has disappeared off the face of, well, the Earth. I'm very curious. Yeah, oh, absolutely. And it's interesting, right? Because the only thing that happened to that hero is that now he's unable to clear creep based on the fog at, I believe it's level 11 or 12, which is, of course, I don't think heroes should be able to do that. This is correct. But now the rest of the utility is still in place in the recovery factor as well, and yet he is not here anymore whatsoever. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see him utilized in this game or not. Because I think that there's still a lot to be said for the ancient stacking recovery, the early blink dagger, the blink echo slams, etc.
I think one of the changes that actually I think weirdly impacted Earthshaker in quite a big way was the change to Refresher. Like not just the increase of the mana, but the cooldown stacking. Usually you'd rely on the Refresher as Earthshaker, be like, even if we don't win the game at a certain point, late game, I will have the Refresher. I can guarantee turn around every team fight. But now the timing is unpredictable, it shifts by 30 seconds, and that mana cost. It's like I was watching a game, I was casting a game the other day. I saw a Mars who tried to go for that Refresher build and wanted to skip the Hex. And you could sort of skip the Hex before, now it's impossible. It just costs too much mana to be able to do it. So I think that probably has an impact. That it's not the late game monster it used to be, just for that one change. So a lot of people, you know how Dota players are. They want to play the broken stuff, man. It can't just be a fair hero. If it's not busted, I don't even want it.
Yeah, no, and they're correct. If you're the one trying to play the fair heroes versus the unfair ones, you are not going to get to land, my friend. It's if the cow's there, milk it dry.
So where's this bristleback going? Is it going to be the carry bristleback? Is it going into the off lane for Na'Vi? What are you feeling right now?
Sorry, I just noticed that the players. I don't think we have the tag on right now, so I was looking at the player list to like pick out PMA, but I think he's named Liquid Ace currently. Yeah,
Maybe he's beefing in pubs and he's like, go talk to Ace. He's the one messing up.
10 seconds
perhaps. It is most likely straight into the
5
offlane for
seconds
PMA.
remaining.
Of course, this team is noted for having a lot of flexibility of these heroes between the cores. It can absolutely also go to Got the Juice. Not one of the ones in this case that flexes to all 3 cores, though. The mid bristleback, I think, still has to be workshopped a bit.
Navi's turn to
Mid Shadow Fiend doesn't have to be workshopped that much. People have a lot of experience with this one. Chira Jr. plays this quite often as well, so he could easily run it. We have seen Watson, of course, play the carry Shadow Fiend in the past, but I would prefer it if they just kept it open until the 24 pick. I mean, they do have that latitude to go for, so a lot
10
easier for them. And
seconds
just make sure that you
remaining.
cover the hero adequately. They've already banned out some Monkey to be annoying,
5
maybe one of
seconds
the Spirits or some Puck to be taken out, just to make sure he's fully protected.
Yeah, and the Niku Puck is an absolute menace. I would not be surprised to see them remove that. The SF Flex is so fascinating to me because that is one of the few heroes that completely switches between the 2 builds, whether or not you go for it mid or carry, right? So it's a lot of these flex heroes do roughly the same thing on a different budget if you switch
10
their lanes.
seconds remaining.
But if you have an SF draft with a flex like this, you kind of gotta
5 seconds
you gotta build
remaining.
for both these guys, and they're both very, very different guys between the right click build versus the Blink Axe build.
See what Yandex want to if they can make sure that that happens. If they are, one of the things I would like to see is making sure that you get a position 4 that can always rotate mid. So if SF is there, can either guarantee kills or bail him out of trouble. I'm thinking some Hoodwink could be decent here for Yandex in the next phase. Good break against the Bristleback as well. Can set up for the Requiem later, and maybe can just set up for some kill lane with, I don't know, a Centaur or something in the off lane.
Yeah. Problems is the kind of player that, well, causes problems with the Hoodwink. In general, that is also one of the reasons that I completely agree with you, but I would also be good with the Tusk, I would be good with the Tiny, I would be good with the Snapfire. Here's that Hoodwink, points go to you. Any one of these heroes that can make sure that Problems really can have a big impact, because for me, he has been the difference maker between whether or not Yandex is going to be playing a fast game or a Watson
10
game.
seconds remaining.
Like I say, a Watson game. We've all seen those games,
5
Watson Dog.
seconds
It's no disrespect to you, but an average of 50-something games in one tournament, it's tough to watch. Na'Vi, what do we want to see here? Some Disruptor could be decent. Bane Elemental. So get that BKB Piercing Disable. Nightmare, always a very nice spell into the Shadow Fiend. And also the Enfeeble. You know, whenever you play this, any kind of Shadow Fiend, whether it's the Magic version or the Spellcaster, nobody enjoys playing into the Enfeeble. You know, the cost range reduction messes you up if you're playing the Magic SF. The damage reduction messes you up if you're playing the attacking SF. Very annoying hero to play into.
Yeah, and I think Na'Vi is one of the few teams. Zayas is one of the few players who insists on playing this Bane on the
10
post 4 right
seconds
now.
remaining.
And it does mean that right now they have a pretty reactive
seconds
support
remaining.
job. Like this Bane definitely wants somebody to engage into him already. But on the other hand, that is one of the things that I like about the Bane pick here as well. With an SF on the mid lane, you don't have an initiator there. The Hoodwink is also technically reactive, does not go in first, wants to have vision for those bushwhacks to line up the ult. So presumably, Yandex is only going to have a single proper initiator, and Bane loves it when there's only one guy. So one guy jumps in, and you got him. He's yours. You take him to your Nightmare realm, and the team fight is yours from that point on. And that looks like none initiator.
I was actually thinking to fix that initiation problem, do you not just pick Clockwork as the +5 and then get another initiator in the off lane? But they say no. Who needs initiation? We are just going to ball up and try to walk you down in that regard. I mean, this is a very strong lane, the Hoodwink Beastmaster. A lot of kill potential can be there. Warlock, if he's playing the position 5, not the kind of hero that'll be very happy dealing with that lane. So presumably you can just outmuscle them, force in the lanes, and then put yourself in a position where you don't even have to initiate. And now you get some counter-initiate as well. Global silence coming in for Yandex here.
Yeah, get those crucial points in the team fight to be completely silenced. No time to drop the rock. Interruption for any Fiend's grips that might be going off
10
wherever. You don't
seconds
need to
remaining.
find the Bane. That is the luxury of it. You just press R. No need to go into the
5
enemy
seconds
backline
remaining.
and take him out.
Let's see for Yandex. So one thing I do not like is that they are fairly ultimate reliant, and crucially, a lot of their damage. Hoodwink requires a level 6 for the damage to come out. SF want to take a little bit of time as well. Beastmaster will be building up his army. There's not that much burst. If they don't use the Hoodwink Shadow Fiend combo, there really isn't that much burst from Yandex, and that worries me a little bit, especially considering that there's that Niku puck. It did not get banned out. Yandex will be rolling the dice to try and deal with this. And Niku's playing a puck into a game where there is 0 instant disable from Yandex. That feels like a dream.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, technically not 0, right? You can definitely force the silencer
5
to
seconds
pop the global.
remaining.
But on the other hand, you can force the silencer to pop the global.
Yeah. And then global is down, 180. What's the response here for
DK ban.
Yandex to this puck?
Yeah, so you can see here by the that Navi's definitely they're still thinking about this flex. They would like Watson to pick up this
10
SF instead,
seconds remaining.
most likely, or at least they're making
5
sure
seconds
that
remaining.
he does not get replaced by a DK on that mid lane.
Dire
For the
team
puck
back.
matchup, and then troll. Because out of the real got the juice heroes here, I mean, the Beastmaster Ursa lane can go either way, but that option is still open. In earlier days, I would have said like, I think about the Terrorblade for this one.
5
But
seconds remaining. Navi's
if you have a
turn to
Bristleback on your
ban.
offlane already, I don't know if you don't feel too passive when doing that. And there's that Broodmother. I should have thought about that. Because yesterday I was hyping up the Broodmother as a possible pocket pick that Mouse might forget about, and I did never ban it either. But Navi also
10
did not
seconds
pick it,
remaining.
and instead Navi were the ones that got pocket picked by a Venomancer into their DK.
5 seconds remaining.
But Yandex is on the ball.
How would you feel about a Sven for Navi when they come out of phase here?
Turn to
Ban Ursa, you pick Sven. That way you have a decent lane into the beast. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
No, great. I mean, the synergy with the puck is obvious here, right? The synergy with the Bristleback as well, all of the armor reduction and the slows. And this is, don't necessarily going to say like an initiator, but you've got another form for jump right now. You got
10
something
seconds
else
remaining.
for your Bane and your Warlock to follow up on. So the way that the
5
team fight
seconds
flows for this team right now feels really good. They've got solutions to most everything. And yeah, you did want somebody who was going to build a BKB fairly early on as well, I think.
Yandex, now it's time to make the decision. Is this Watson Shadow Fiend? Is it Chira Jr. Shadow Fiend? What is Watson gonna play? Ursa would have been nice into the Sven. Could they go for the Terrorblade? Not really. There's a Bristleback that could make things annoying with the Warlock. Slaughter.
Choose your
Okay.
hero.
Mid Slaughter then, the XM special it looks like.
Yeah, are we? Yeah,
Oh, it's Mid Beast.
okay.
It's Mid Beast, okay.
It is mid beast. Interesting. I mean, it's definitely this matchup can get to the point where the puck, because as a puck, at some point you want to leave the lane, right? It's very much a Beastmaster situation in that regard. But even if you don't leave the lane, at some point you got to start bringing supports to that mid lane in order to avoid the Beastmaster shoving you out, because you can't stand there anymore. You don't have the damage to deal with his entire horde of creatures. So this is, yeah, I enjoy mid beast. We're talking about high tempo here, the mid beast, especially if you don't go for the axe build. If you just play the regular old Beastmaster army, then it is one of the highest tempo heroes in the game.
Okay. We're gonna see if it has enough tempo to outmuscle what is available right now on the side of their enemy team of Yandex. One thing I'm curious about with Yandex's squad with this Beastmaster, after you go in with the armies and stuff, right? Obviously, Starter wants to provide that initiation. But as the puck, since you're not going to be able to out-tempo the beast in an even situation, where do you go first to try and like just slow them down so they don't have the ability to just take over the whole map?
Hard to say. The pain point for Yandex is usually on their safe lane, right? And you can, as long as you understand that if you go and bother Watson, they will all come there. You can use that to ding-dong ditch them in the worst-case scenario. Like either you kill Watson or you force everybody to come to his aid. And that is a powerful tool. A lot of other teams are like, okay, fine, you got to our carry. Cool beans, we're busy taking a tower. He can take a hit. But I've seen Yandex be really insistent about securing him. So that could be an option. Harass Watson, force Yandex to react.
Right now, the casual later smokes as usual, just vision going everywhere. Doesn't seem like we're going to be having any major skirmishes here. Did have some smokes pop bottom between the Slaughter and the Warlock, but everybody's just chilling. Gonna be a nice standard day of Dota. People understand what the stakes are, so I doubt we'll be seeing massive risks being taken in game one. So, this could be a first blood here onto the silencer. Blood grenade dropped down, and that man is gone. Before he dies, though, he's gonna set them up that they maybe find revenge onto Xyrax. So that at least will be taken away. So shout out to Watson for picking up that kill. PMA doesn't end up in a crucial scenario, but just happy to be participating in the first blood.
Yeah, and shout out to International Vending Machine. He's one of my favorite pro players of all time.
This is Shira Jr.'s only sixth professional game on Beastmaster in his entire career. They're still getting used to this one.
Let's see how comfortable he is. Let's see what we get from him. But I do already see the telltale point booster knocking behind our basement door. So this is going to be Axe Beastmaster. I'm curious to see how much they can contest the stacks over on Na'Vi to perhaps try and slow that one down. Because that is a build that you can slow down.
Right now, things looking solid for Watson, getting a lot of CS. They are, with their vending machine, bothering the bristleback. I think it's maybe Arcane Curse is second to only maybe like time dilation of spells that I don't want to play into a bristleback. So annoying.
It's awful. And it's one of the reasons that Zayt's is really far forward to trying to mess with this silencer here. But of course, he himself, like, Bane's a great trading hero, but a silencer, the amount of damage that he offers is well, you can see he's losing out currently. So top lane definitely a little bit of a struggle bus for Na'Vi so far.
Bottom lane is going a little bit better for them. Farming away is going to be the Sven in front of the Slaughter. Obviously, they're going to be trading with one another as their supports do what they can. The one who needs to watch out the most here is obviously going to be this Warlock. At any given point, if they dive him, things could look tough, but for now, just farming away, doing his thing. Got the juice. It's one thing about the Sven that's always quite nice when you play it. Very brain dead hero. You don't have to think too much about your itemization, man. Just follow the item route.
Same trip every time. No, and in the lane versus the Slaughter, you also, you know, a lot of offlaners get really into their strengths at level 3, right? But versus the Slaughter, you really don't have to worry too much about it until level 4 when the first point in the sprint comes in.
Haven't gotten to that point just yet, so they're just trading about. The big difference maker has yet to emerge in this game. Mid lane, there is a little bit of experience in favor of Shiro Jr., but CS is overall still exactly the same. I doubt we're going to see any major possibility of a kill unless someone makes a pretty big mistake.
Not a kill on the mid lane, certainly, but this one is going to get harder and harder for me to. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a kill attempt on a Beastmaster directly at the puck level 6, or, you know.
He's going to end up dead here. They bring him down. Going to be an immediate trade though for Xyrax. We'll see if PMA can escape here. Cursed. Mr. Watson has already expended 2 of the raises. Couldn't find the vision for the 3rd. So PMA should be able to get out of here unless, is this going to be a hard read coming in from Watson? Nah, gonna let it go.
No, keep that mana for the next time around. Because you don't build a lot of mana regen on this safe lane SF, so better keep them for when you know they're really gonna hit.
That's Watson very much enjoying his time right now. CS leader in the game, involved in 2 kills. I mean, they're already right now putting pressure once more onto this Bristleback, forcing him away from Zax. Zax, this is gonna hurt, brother. Gotta get back as soon as possible. You need that tower protection. Overall, though, it does feel like Yandex having the better of it right now in the laning phase. Chira Jr. is accelerating even more. Ton of experience over and above Niku. Down bottom, things are looking quite solid for the Slaughter. So Notice is farming away. Has a bunch of regen in his pocket. They haven't actually been able to harass him all that much. Still has a Fairy Fire, Lotus, and a Mango. They try to force out the deny, but look at this. Got the juice, he went for the Flag Bearer creep, but will cost him half of his HP to just get that.
Yep, this is the Slaughter level 4, and I honestly think that this is mostly his lane now, and we're now at one of the few pain points that I know Na'Vi has. Sometimes they draft their lanes just a little bit greedily, and that can snowball out of control when teams make good use of it. So is now really, especially for example, the levels on the supports, something Na'Vi really needs to look out for, that they don't fall too far behind on supports that are, well, especially the Bane, right? Really reliant on that level 6. The Warlock, very much the same, but of course he'll have the Grimoire. So usually a bit less of a pain point to actually get to the 6.
It turns out you gain experience faster when you can read. Warlock showing us that.
Learning from other people's mistakes? Preposterous. I want to do it all myself.
Mid lane, speaking of doing it himself, Chira Jr. trying to approach this. Does have a little bit of help right now. But unfortunately though, it is going to be a bottom haste rune. Gets stolen by the Hoodwink. Man, Niku would really like the help right now, but it's just not happening for him. He spent most of this lane just chilling on his own high ground, just trying to keep as much distance between himself and Chira Jr. as possible. Silencer. Should have a kill here perhaps. Silencer getting away though. It's a setup. Watson is here to find immediate revenge. Melody says, well, I hope it was worth it, sucker. Free intelligence for me.
Yeah, hey, you thought this was a 1v1? I brought a buddy. Smart man. Always bring a buddy.
What are we waiting for in terms of them being able to open up the map from the side of Na'Vi? Because it does feel like if this static, we're just farming away phase continues, it just benefits Yandex more and more, getting them closer to their timings. So who's going to be able to like break the rhythm of Yandex, create a little bit of space and openings for Na'Vi?
It's going to have to be on PMA. So the Bristleback is going to have to be the one creating these openings, perhaps forcing these openings, and it's going to be risky. But perhaps at the cost of his own safety here. He does have one stack, yeah, just the one stack for now, but I think Na'Vi could be doing a better job of stacking a little bit more for him, accelerating him to that Lotus Orb, and then using the Bristle, perhaps just with the Plate Mail, and try for the tower, see what you can get out of it.
Bottom lane, got the juice, still trying to farm away, but we're getting to that point where we're gonna start thinking about rotations bottom so they can keep pressuring the tower and force the Sven out of lane. They don't really care about top anymore since Watson, at this stage, level 6 Shadow Fiend, pretty secure. They have to bring quite a lot of resources to deal with you, so as long as you stay safe behind the tower, farm the top camps, you'll be chilling. It's bottom that we have to start worrying about the Sven.
I mean, the other thing that I'm personally worrying about is Niku's game, which is into the Silencer, as well as things like the Bushwhack, for example. This early game and the fact that you currently you build the Witchblade first and then into Blink Dagger, that's 2 items where you're not going to have any defense capabilities whatsoever. Is here, well, the top side, the pressure comes first from the Dire side instead of from the Radiant.
Yeah, this is really bad. This is more space for Watson if they can get this tower, and I don't think they're ready to actually mount a defense. Niku is like, what, level 7? Doesn't actually have any items just yet. He's gonna go bottom though, maybe looking towards the Slaughter. So they try to find that kill. But unfortunately, just not enough damage. He expended the Dream Coil, but the Sven wasn't close enough, so they didn't find the Stormhammer. So wasted rotation from the puck. Tier 1 tower to fall in the top lane. Shira Jr. here to soak up some of this golden experience as well. Things not looking so hot, Miss Kips.
Top tower has fallen.
No, they're not. And yeah, I can hype up Navi about a fast team all I want, but so far this seems they seem pretty dead in the water. And this top tower, as you said, has a great strategic significance. I was talking about Ding Dong ditching on Watson, like going there, harassing him, forcing the side of Yannick's back. Well, now you have an entire wave to shove out, like the full 10 or 20 second alarm system that's gonna go off and be like, hey Watson, they're coming to get you again. Oh no, whatsoever shall I do? So this is a lot of strategic safety for that top side.
Oh, mid lane, sides. Is he dead? Wild Axes, got him.
He tried.
Nice there. Who put out down this observer ward? Malady is the one that planted this ward, so from the past, he was setting up this kill to happen in the future. That's the type of support play that the team needs.
Yep. And here's the power of that Beastmaster is just. It's in that regard, like you can ban out the DK all you want, but the playstyle of this hero is very, very similar in the early phases of the game, and they have stacks for him as well. I was talking about maybe Navi has an opportunity to contest these, but absolutely not. So all of his money is going to go in Kira Jr.'s pocket. And Problems has been completely free to stack this up because the Slaughters had such a good time on bot.
Man's been chilling. Sven has been effectively muscled away from bottom. Has to play very carefully now. We'll go pick up a Shadow Word, thanks to the dutiful support, but that gives plenty of space and time with the Siege Dragon approaching for some pressure to be put on the Tier 1 tower. It doesn't seem like anybody is really interested in defending. Okay, they're gonna make the call to come through now, but they need to be careful because Shira Jr. is also making the same rotation. They could easily just jump on and kill the Sven here. And they're gonna try for it.
Here they go.
There's the Bushwhack, there's the Roar. Sharpshooter as well. Level 6 has been attained by this Hoodwink. Very easy kill onto Got the Juice.
Navi. This is, and I've watched this particular movie before, or maybe the prequels. Here, level 6 for the Warlock.
They're gonna try change the movie though. The sequel is on. They brought Niku down for this one. They will just leave behind the Hoodwink. They're like, hey, boss, problems, dog. That's your problem, my G. Deal with it yourself.
Yeah. No, a worthy sacrifice for this amount of pressure on the tower, I think. This amount of space for Watson. And we can give Watson flack for sometimes being a little bit of a slower player all we want, but he is a terrifying presence if you can buy him the space to farm. And right now that threat is already building in the background. You can see the train coming. We're currently standing on the tracks. Now we have 15 to 20 minutes for Navi to get off.
They're gonna try and take this now with the Chaotic Offering drop down onto the Silencer. Even threw a Blood Grenade at him. Should end up dead here, but whatever, bro. I forced him to pop Grimoire and the level 6. I mean, sure, we're gonna experience some tower pressure, but with Shira Jr. being here with the axes as well as the presence of this Problems Hoodwink, I don't think they fully take the tower. They'll get some pressure out, but that's the best they can hope for.
And Bristle here opted for the Blade Mail, so in that regard, like, and it's a rock and a hard place thing, right? I'm happy that he went for the Blade Mail because it means that they're pushing tower now. He feels empowered to do that. But on the other hand, you need the Lotus this game. You need it. So I'd be more than happy if he doubled down on the armor aspect right now and just grabbed that one as his next item, because versus the Silencer, versus the Corrosive Haze, please buy it.
He's heard you. He's like, fine, okay. Use up the Lotus Orb for his team.
Listen, he knows. I don't have to tell him. I'm telling all the other bristlebacks in the same sort of situation to not be greedy.
I personally feel called out, Gibbs.
Good. Good.
I 100% will talk my team into letting me farm a BKB instead, but down bottom. Said Bristleback is here, putting pressure onto Malady, but PMA needs to get back. Doesn't have that Lotus just yet, but PMA needs to run away because the stuns are there from Notice. The big Requiem flying through from Watson as well. Bristleback is caught and killed. Blade Mail will not save you. Shiraz Jr. there as well with the Primal Roar. And he has Aghanim's Kip, so 2 kills into the Roshan. It is that time with the drums of Slom.
Yep. Party in the Roche pit. Navi's not invited. Beautiful pincer movement there as well, by the way. Like, it's one of those things that, of course, it's easier to do if you're ahead, if you feel confident, because you need to be moving both parties up separately. Oh no.
They found Niku. I was wondering, I thought when they saw the Slaughter leaving the pit, I thought he was just chasing the Invis rune, but no, he was after Niku. They found the puck, they popped the global. So you got 2 core kills, a Roche, a lot of gold into your cores, more space on the map for Watson, a 5k net worth lead, and it's only 15 minutes. This is perfect. How could things go wrong from here?
Listen, the Sven could get big and chop your SF down. That is one of the turning opportunities for Navi here eventually. And this puck, I mean, once a Lotus Orb is there, if you can coordinate it, it's going to be the Bristleback's job to save the puck from the global, most likely. But that's easier said than done.
We used to sometimes see these pucks pick up the Yule Scepter in response to the Silencer. Given how weird this game has gone, where he hasn't had the latitude to finish all of his items, has Witchblade going into Blink, would you take the risk or take the defensive approach and go Yules first before the Blink, or is the Blink that necessary for their progress?
I think it is, because we were talking previously about soul initiators and how hard they can make the game for the team that's playing them. But non-initiators is even worse. Because by that point, taking the fights is almost never up to you anymore.
Oh, Chira Jr., they break onto the puck. They were trying to get the assassination onto Malady, but it was just a trap. Yet again, he had another excellent Observer Watch here. They've already brought down the puck. The TP from Bade will not succeed. They find another bash throwing up from Noticed. Man, Malady, they keep me thinking he's going to be an easy kill, keeps baiting in the opponent, and then all of a sudden brings in the reinforcements. Not 1, but 2 heroes show up this time around.
Yeah, he's got 7 Brain Drain going right now, which is a pretty luxury position to be in. Pav is finished already as well. He is deceptively tanky and hits pretty hard already.
Game is looking kind of hard right now for Na'Vi. They don't have any of their big ultimates either because they expended them bottom, so we're not going to be having a big fight from them for a while. And that gives free space for the side of Yandex to do whatever the hell they want. It seems what they want is the tier 2 tower. Shira Jr. shoving it in. Incredibly immortal. Ags with the power trades. Aegis online, building straight into the BKB. Yeah, wherever Shira Jr. is at, you do not want to be there.
Absolutely not. But I want to point out here, by the way, this is I think the second or third time that Watson has just straight up showed up to hold hand with this team. And we saw this last year as well. Like, as much as he has a reputation for being slow, he absolutely is working on the tempo playstyle. He is showing up more and more, and in some games, it absolutely works out for him as well. Terrorblade yesterday, where he showed up at 16 minutes, made a save with a Sunder play there too. Quite a different kind of guy. I like it.
It's like we were talking about before the game started. My favorite games of his this tournament is when he's been playing Ursa, playing up-tempo. So you love to see it. Well, if you're the opponent on the side of Na'Vi, you hate to see it. You wish he was just hiding in the jungle, not emerging.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
If only. But they'd lose this game currently 4 versus 5 as well. That is the big issue. Sven still needs his BKB. Does have the Blink Dagger. So the PMA can burst somebody with the God's Strength if he gets the opportunity. But in some ways, it's going to have to be handed to him.
I'll say they've done a pretty good job of protecting Set Sven. They've been playing on areas of the map where he's either safe from any approach or he's always surrounded by a support or two. Doesn't mean he's only died once. In fact, most of the deaths have been tanked by Xyx. Somebody's got to take the fall. He's been doing it to try and make some space, give an opportunity for these items to emerge. And we almost have said Blink for Niku. That could start to change the game. Unfortunately for him, the Blink Dagger on Puck is going to arrive after the double BKB on the Dire lineup.
Which is... sad is the only word I've got for it. But at the very least, you're going to have double Blink on your course. You're going to have the opportunity to leverage that Sven's physical burst against the BKBs here. Whether or not he comes out alive from that is a wholly different situation.
I just realized the courier that they killed was carrying PMA's Lotus Orb. He was about to finish the full thing. Now 2 minutes, no Lotus available for him. So it means a free global silence if they want to expend it. Aegis expires in 5 seconds. So they're saying, you know what? There's no need for us to force this game right now. We are so far ahead. Let's just go take the Tormi, maybe set up to contest for the Shrine at 21, and we'll just be okay, guys. There's no need to rush. He smoked up on the side of Na'Vi, but unfortunately everybody's on the other side of the map. Not really much for them to claim here. No stacks. Oh no. He popped God Strength. He thought there was maybe a bigger stack here, but they haven't been playing here for a while, my friend. This farm is quite anemic. The best you'll get out of this is a tier 1 that was probably going to fall by itself anyway.
Yeah, at some point, I mean, you gotta take it when it's offered to you. You know that the enemy side is standing around the Tormentor, holding hands and singing Kumbaya right now. So.
Oh, they are. They were, but they're coming for you.
Oh yeah.
Junior got tired of being in that area. They might actually do the double. They take the Tormi first to make them think they're all there. We'll see if anybody's left behind, and it's the Sven. This is the big prize. They actually have the damage if they can find him. Bushwhack will connect. Boomerang out, sharpshooter there. There's the roar, and he is a dead man. The one person who they could not have left behind, he's the one that gets caught out. And Chira Jr. and the boys just getting everything on the map.
Yeah, and I want you to notice Navi's body language during that pickoff. Like, the Bristleback is farming a camp right next to where Sven is getting assassinated, and all he does is shift over a little to the left. He's like, ah, they're still occupied. I can finish this camp. They have given up on fighting anything that Yandex does right now. It is all about buying time, buying space. If it's the Sven that goes down, imagine in your head Matumba Man here. Unfortunate.
Well, Niku's doing the right thing, shoving out the top wave, bringing in a fairly large contingent of creeps with the Sea Dragon. Somebody might have to respond to this. Getting himself closer towards having Parasma as well. So not going to go BKB or Yule Scepter. Just going to rely on his Bristleback to bail him out of the global.
Oh, better than having absolutely nobody to bail you out of global. Incredibly enough, that courier that died with the plate mail now went back to grab another energy booster as well.
Longest detour of all time. It's like when you get a delivery and you're watching tracking the driver and you're like, dude, where are you going? On the other side of town right now.
Had to check in on his aunt.
Dire are scanning.
Don't joke. I once had a homie tell me, listen, I'm visiting my girlfriend quick. I'll be right there.
My friend. There's something about bros before.
Radiant are scanning.
9k net worth lead. Game still firmly in control of Yandex, but on the bright side, Sven now does have BKB. So that is going to be at least something. Not going to die as easily as he did the last couple of times. We'll have some degree of protection here and a way to get out of global.
To my fiends.
Yep, and the puck is still saying no. It's Lotus or nothing. We need damage, so he's got the Parasma in the works currently. No Yules, no BKB, no desperation. And you see this more often for Na'Vi in these games where they're losing. They're not going to compromise on their damage in favor of defensiveness. They consider that to be a stay of execution, I think. And they'd rather take the smaller chance that they turn the game instead of the larger chance that they just prolong it. So it's a philosophy that I can respect. But, you know, sometimes it's going to cost you. Kira Jr., does he have the deeps?
Does indeed. They do manage to get Niku through the global silence as well. So he gets taken out. Niku, unfortunately, not able to survive that. The Bristleback was all the way towards middle where they got the global out of the silence. So they try to grip him, but the Bushwhack, what a cancel on the backlines. We will see Slaughter, though, jumping forward. BKB does get himself cancelled out with the chaotic offering. He's trying to fight through this, and Watson has shown up out of nowhere. brings down the PMA Bristle. So Got the Juice realizes that he needs to run and needs to do it quickly. At the very least, they were able to claim the life of the Slaughter, but not a worthwhile trade when you're losing 2 cores once more. And guess what? Roshan, thankfully, not going to be up immediately for them.
Yeah, small sliver of hope there. Hey, listen, if you're Navi right now, you're okay with taking fights that look bad, but that don't immediately make your position worse either. So, yeah, sure, you lose a hero there, but in the grand scheme of things, this is much worse. This is much, much worse.
He doesn't have his BKB. They don't have the Primal Roar at the very least, but they do have the Bushwhack. They catch him. Sharpshooter follows it up. BKB activated by Chira Jr. And Niku was hoping to help, but immediately has to flee himself. Gets caught by the Hunter's Boomerang, but thankfully Sharpshooter already used. So they find the Sven. He was en route towards getting the big damage item that he needs. But every single time he gets close, Yandex just shuts the window.
And the fact that the Beastmaster is big enough to simply go mano a mano with the Sven right now is enough of a sign of like how deep in the woods Navi is currently.
Now, we're at the point where Chira Jr. is so tanky, they can give the Aegis happily to Watson.
Yep. I think Watson's done farming, ladies and gentlemen. I think he is. And it is a pleasure to announce that in 25 minutes.
Does he go straight for the Daedalus, or is the Silver Edge more important right now?
I think the Silver Edge, you would like the Hoodwink to be able to just spend a Sharpshooter on an opening kill, no matter who that might be, and then still have a source of break for the Bristleback in reserve. And ultimately, right now, you're not as reliant on the be-all to end-all for the physical DPS, because you have a Beastmaster and a Slardar, both of them right-click plenty.
On bottom, they need to make a response here, because this way shoved in all the way to the tier 3 tower, and there's a Beastmaster in tow. They'll begin in with the Bristle. Thankfully, the Silver Edge isn't available. If they had the Silver Edge, he'd actually be dead right now.
Absolutely. There's a Beastmaster with a Blink Dagger, and a Roar with, well, anybody's name on it, honestly. But you can see, you have an SF. And Navi, like, are you really going to initiate into it? Look at how far spaced out they are currently. I like pointing out this half moon formation always. Important for the middle.
Shout out Falcon's DOTA.
Yeah.
Tier 3 tower going down, jumping up. They get it immediately onto the Bane. Bane is going to end up going. Global Silence was popped as well, so that denies the counter initiation. But they also expended the curing. Watson did fall quite low though. Needs to get out and heal up with the Mask of Madness on these creeps. That's a big. Thankfully for him, he's very low on the experience, so I'm not going to spend too much time.
Watson on half health. It's a little awkward for him to siege still. Yes, he has some stats, but they'll be happy to just get away with taking the tower here, I think. Having expended the global means that you do not risk that Bane respawning on you. And once again, you can see that Navi was just playing for time there by the fact that the Sven never showed up. He was in his own triangle the entire time, and now, well,
out onto the
you caught a fish, but
he gets Nightmare back. But here comes the Sven. God Strength pop will actually be able to get the grab onto the Slaughter. That's a very good usage of the God Strength there. Definitely worthwhile. Ton of go for them. It's a foul for an offlane kill at 28 minutes.
not bad at all. And the reaction just a little bit late from Yandex there, but that was a risky play for Navi. If he pops the God Strength, jumps in there, and then that Bushwhack immediately gets him, we're looking at a whole different ball game. But Sven now well on his way to the crit, and once the crit is in, a game can always turn. Once the crit is in, all you have to do at that point is get lucky.
Pretty much online at this moment, about to finish with Daedalus for himself. He has the capability of two-shotting some of these heroes in the game. The nice thing about it is that they haven't actually been able to find Malady for quite a while, earlier Juke shenanigans. But we are slowly getting to the point where if you find the silencer, you can actually kill it before the response comes in from the rest of the squad.
Are scanning.
Fast fingers. And they're gonna have to settle for the Warlock.
Yeah, that'll do.
Ooh.
Is he
I
out?
don't think he's out. Especially because the Bane is still here as well, and Zayas will also gladly still throw himself on the train tracks. If that means that the juice gets out.
Oh, another huge item just emerged here. Look at PM. Now he has BK level on the. So BKB Lotus, Gale God with the Blade Mail. Starting to become a very difficult, despite how farm they are. And they still don't have the Silver Edge. Watson changed his mind, went for the Daedalus instead.
That is a lot riskier of an item, especially versus, for example, the Blade Mail being up.
Radiant structures are falling. Dire's top tower is under attack.
But you get to do this.
Yeah, just two-shotting that Bane Elemental, making it very easy. Now though, Watson just wants these melee barracks. They've already cleaned up the range. They were scouting the trees using the sharpshooter. They don't get to find it, but now here comes the Sven. Sven able to get the job, bring down Watson, but it's only the Aegis Life. He gets himself stunned with the primal roll, trying to bring down the Sven. Watson comes back into it. The final right-click connects. Sven is dead. There's a big Fiend's Grip though onto Watson with this PMA Bristleback, doing a ton of damage on the back edge of the fight. And those throws out the Requiem, but he needs to get out of here with the TP. He can't make it in time. Just ends up losing his life as he dies. Everybody else from the side of Yandex needs to flee, but the only one remaining is the Problems Hoodwink, and he dies too. The buybacks being used in good stead by the support of Na'Vi, but the hero of this fight here, Kip, just the Sven, but the Bristleback PMA stood his ground for his team, allowed them to make that turnaround happen.
Yeah, and you know, that is why you can go for just damage on the puck. If you know they're going to come into you, if you know that your Bristleback is willing to take the hit for the team, and this Sven as well, by the way, then finally we see some impact from the Parasma on that Niku puck here as well. Much needed damage to clean up the fight in the end after his other cores have been incapacitated.
Feels like that fight maybe started to go wrong once they realized the sharpshooter was down. They're like, guys, there's no break for the Bristle. Pretty much do whatever the hell you want.
This is the prize for the Daedalus. Great Fiend's Grip here as well.
Well, now that that's happened, they also picked up a Tormentor back in real life. Ton of gold, but also look at this. We're back to even in terms of the net worth lead. Completely normalizes the game. They also defended their melee barracks, so they're not going to get shoved in as hard in the bottom side of the map.
Are scanning.
And I gotta say, I didn't really want to believe it. I've seen Na'Vi do this before, where yeah, the score looks bad, the gold looks bad, but you don't see all of the pickoffs that they didn't lose and all of the ways in which they could have been much further behind. The 10k gold lead, pretty significant, but ultimately, if it can turn in one fight, how far ahead were they really over on the side of Yandex? And now you've got a Sven who's pretty much online, finished off the Harpoon as well. If he gets on top of your SF, Watson cannot stand up to that kind of DPS. And your Beastmaster's falling off.
For the Sven.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back with the team here. Looks like they're gonna smoke up as a unit on the side of Yandex. Try to find something on the map. They're on an aggressive ward all the way to the bottom side, and doesn't seem like anybody of Na'Vi is gonna play in that area. Zayax might stay behind a smoke or two.
Such techies positioning here. Edman is always finding weird corners.
Found Chiro Jr. Chiro Jr. though jumped forward into this PMA Bristleback. He's happy to trigger out the Blade Mail. Trigger out a BKB himself as well, but here's the bigger target. They found the Sven. Sven though, BKB is turning around to try and beat these heroes down. They're all gonna back off as Niku enters the fight. Dream Coil dropped down to bring down the Beastmaster, and now they had a Fiend's Grip onto Watson. Gets cancelled out by the Global Silence. Watson able to put the pressure out onto Bane, killing him off. But as soon as the Global is down, Sven jumps back in, cleaves him down with only a couple of hits. 3 hits as well is all that's required to take out the Silencer. It is a 3-for-1 exchange. The Sven is fully online, and for the first time in this game, Kips, it's now taking the gold lead.
They wasted so much time on the bristleback there. The fact that the Sven gets to disengage in the middle of that fight, hide in the trees, wait until he's got everybody lined up and the global is over, that is exactly how you want to play that. And the DPS from Niku is also becoming unignorable. But on the other hand, yeah, if you pop the global for him, you're not going to have it for that Fiend's Grip. You're not going to have it for the Sven jump. There's only one global silence, and it's starting to become a problem.
Yeah. Tier 2 tower getting sieged upon by PMA. You will claim this without too much difficulty. Nobody to contest.
Middle tower has fallen.
30 seconds until Roshan respawns. So now they can take the outpost here, try to put themselves in a better position to claim the big man once he comes up. Get themselves in Aegis for once.
Yeah, and the Sven's moving into the Satanic now as well. And this is one of the reasons why the global silence isn't sufficing anymore, right? It's because the sustaining power is finally online. Watson doesn't kill everybody immediately anymore. A single roar is not enough to finish off either of the two main cores from Na'Vi. So even more sustain on the Sven presents even more problems.
Na'Vi want to increase the amount of problems that they have as they smoke up. Might have been scouted here by this courier that Beastmaster had in the
They
area.
already have one problem.
We shall see.
What about second problem?
Na'Vi, they don't have the best vision, but they do have a bristleback. He's happy to just run headlong into the opponent. That's exactly what he's gonna do. He sees the courier running overhead, so he has an idea of where they are. Now here he cancels the blink dagger on the slaughter.
Doesn't see Watson yet.
Watson triggering the wreck without just yet though. He knows he has to wait until he sees the Sven as well. Bristleback alone is not enough.
They know where he is now. They know where Watson is. And he
Oh, they dump him. They do see Watson though. They come right in, but they forced off the Sven away. He's gonna die though. They couldn't get off the PKB on Sven, so he gets rinsed down by Watson. Now they're trying to keep the fight going. Big Requiem sending the bristleback away. They need to be careful though, as they're losing all of their heroes. Niku and PMA, they're doing too much damage now. Who cares about the Sven? They clean up almost everybody just by themselves. A triple kill picked up by the puck. Sven dies in the blink of an eye, but as soon as those BKBs are down, so does everybody on the side of Yandex.
And this is why it's greedy as hell to go straight for the Plasma in your pubs, but why it's absolutely justified when you've got the coordination to pull off a fight like that. And the sacrifice as well. The Sven needs to go in there in order to force all the reactions to give his puck a chance at playing the fights like this. I thought for sure that it was going to cost him. I was baffled when they didn't. They saw the SF and instead decide to go on the slaughter anyway, deciding that they don't want to sit around fishing for a better opportunity at Watson instead, but it works out.
8k gold lead none has been revealed. Niku is inside the pit. But we can go. This is not going to take too long. I mean, Slaughter can come for a heroic steal, but I think you just have to accept that the Aegis, the Cheese, the Banner, and the Refresher Shot are going to be going the way of Na'Vi.
And once you have that Aegis presumably on the bristleback, you're going to be able to siege. Yes, there we go. This game is old PMA, baby. And he's just only built armor and a BKB this game. Completely correct. What a Chad.
Watson is still a shooting, going for a Silver Edge. It doesn't seem like one is going to emerge from the Slaughter. He's going for his Nullifier right now. Do you like the Nulli here on the Slaughter?
I mean, if you're going for the backlines, right, there is a Ghost Scepter to be dispelling here. You've got the puck with an Aeon Disc completed now as well. Like there's good reasons to have it, as well as that for the Slaughter. I think it is important to eventually increase your damage and really need to start hitting as well. And the Nullifier is no slouch at that either. So I am happy with the pickup here. So your other option at this point is, well, we see the Wind Waker. Further on, you could be thinking about. Do you think about a Hex on the starter? Not really. The AC has already been built by a Beastmaster.
Look at Niku. Just going heads up into the Shadow Fiend and killing him solo with the double Dream Quill. Oh, we see now that Slaughter's in danger as well on the high ground. His BKB is about to expire. Nico's gonna bring him down as well. It's a double kill from the puck. You thought you were safe in front of your own tier 3 tower. Hell, you thought you were safe on your high ground. Nico says absolutely not. And Kips, neither of these cores has buyback. This is at least one lane of racks, perhaps even two, perhaps even the game. They're gonna get it. GG, well played is called. Na'Vi struggled for the entirety of game 1, but after one critical fight, turn it all around, get the right items, turn game 1 into a victory for the Yellow brand.
And I feel like we're living in the upside down right now, because it was Yandex that set the tempo. It was Na'Vi that played keep away the entire game. The Sven, barely had to lift a finger. He got picked off twice, sure, but in general, they really it was Na'Vi that played the 4 Protect 1 here, and the snowball purely came from the side of Yandex. And as it turns out, Na'Vi is better at 4 Protect 1 than Yandex is at the snowball. It's all topsy-turvy, but I'm loving it.
This is the kind of Dota that you want to see, where things look very clear for a while, but a couple of moments. We always talk about how Dota is a game of margins, and those margins very favorable for Na'Vi. A lot of shout outs to a lot of people in the game. I think Zax did a great job in tanking ganks, because you look at the scoreboard, it's like they got 24 kills on the side of Yandex, 11 of them are on this Bane Elemental. So, guys.
I love that you're pointing this out. And this is something that I'm not going to take credit for this, but this is something that we discussed way back in the day. It's like, okay, the bus is coming. Somebody's going to get hit by the bus. Either you pick who goes under the bus, or the bus picks for you. What do you prefer? And Zayed's here very clearly showing that he says, okay, fine, bus, here I am, take me. The rest of them, please leave them to live another day. And it's exactly the kind of sacrifice that is required in order to play keep away. And if you look at the positions where he died, the heat map of that, I'm sure you're also going to see that they're all pretty far forward, all in key positions. So it's one of the reasons why this game ends up the way that it does.
Of course, there are some flowers to still give towards Yandex. They played that very high tempo game earlier on. They were pushing high ground at like 25 minutes into the game. Things could have very easily went if that fight high ground goes in their favor. They claim the lane of racks. Who knows? Hell, who knows if there's a Silver Age that gets picked up by the Shadow Fiend? A lot could have still happened in this, but the way of Na'Vi. It's only game 1 though, so we still have another opportunity for the side of Yandex to get themselves in game 3 and still have a chance of go Blast Slam Season 5. So let's go to a quick break, go grab some water, and when we return, Yandex versus Na'Vi for game 2 of these finals here for Blast Slam 5.
The new breakthrough, an innovative phone with 1xBet app. With 1xBet app, you can register and start betting in just 1 click. Intuitive interface and thousands of sports events every day. User-friendly app. Big wins, fast payouts. you break through an innovative phone with 1xBet app. With 1xBet app, you can register and start betting in just one click. Intuitive interface and thousands of sports events every day. User-friendly app. Big wins, fast payouts.
Welcome back, one and all, to this best-of-3 series between Na'Vi and Team Yandex to determine which one of them will have the honor of competing at Blast Slam Season 5 and the honor of being one of the squads that actually made it through these crazy qualifiers that we've had. Game 1, Yandex were in the driver's seat, they were in control, they were driving the bus, and they thought they knew where it was going to go, but Zayak said no, redirected the bus, and Na'Vi got the W. So, Ms. Kipps, what do they have to do on the side of Yandex to make sure that this time around the bus actually arrives at its destination?
Well, one of the things that ends up happening here, right, is because of the way that you've conducted this draft, the fact that you put the Watson on the SF carry and then does mean that there is a winning matchup here for the Sven. And the fact that you have the momentum, the fact that you have the extra resources out of having had the lead all this game means that for a long time you get to deal with him. But eventually dealing with him costs so much that that the puck gets back in the game. And I gotta say, I have never seen a more unpuck puck game. No split pushing, no shenanigans, no here I am. Just raw DPS once we're past 30 minutes. Nothing before that. So I think what you want is a winning matchup for Watson.
Maybe give him, and they actually had the option, right? Because they're the ones that had access to the 24 pick. They could have decided to put the SF in the mid lane, get him a winning matchup. But that's presumably why Na'Vi also made sure to ban the Ursa first, right? Before picking the Sven, to deny Watson the obvious out and out, I will win this matchup type of situation. So heading into game 2, I think it was also Yandex, they themselves banned Troll. So that was kind of a perfect situation for Na'Vi going into that final phase, I think, for the carry-to-carry matchup.
Yeah, I think so as well. And to be fair, I greatly enjoy it when teams pick the double offlaner type draft, because the amount of tempo that you get out of that and the amount of you are the director of the game unless the enemy follows you in that same kind of draft pattern. And Na'Vi was much greedier. You can see that after coming out of the laning stage. So I don't fault them for that. They absolutely had a window to win the game harder, but that's where that interference run by Zayats comes in. And it's hard for you to realize that you're not as far ahead as you need to be, as you thought you were before you're standing on that high ground. And we highlighted the choice between the Daedalus and the break there as well. Yeah, the Silver Edge. And I feel like that was a very, very fateful decision because it seems like a choice almost determined to, you're like, if I go for the Silver Edge, sure, I have something against the Bristleback, but my DPS is lacking a little bit more, my burst is lacking, and maybe what we need is to just end right now instead of both of our offlaner type heroes cresting the hill of their output and us being found lacking. So I wonder how they themselves evaluated that item.
Well, we'll see if they have any changes in their draft philosophy heading into game 2, as we do have the draft in our hands. They've swapped sides. Yandex is now first pick on the Radiant, Na'Vi second pick on Dire. And Niku, sorry brother, you gotta get the respect ban. I mean, it always feels nice as a player to get the respect ban, but simultaneously, you're like, oh man, I wanted to own them one more time.
Just one more. He's gonna get the opportunity again. Maybe not this time. Marcia, yeah, and you're still getting your wish. They're not dealing with the Naga Siren.
Team ban.
No, what's in TA? Another hero on which he has opportunities to show up.
10 seconds.
Let's see, Yandex, with the first pick, they could expend it on getting themselves some Snapfire, which we didn't see at all last game, which was kind of strange.
Weird, huh?
Right. Nowadays, I'm just expecting first phase for Snapfire the entire time, but this could be one of these best of 3s where neither team really values the snap that much, at least for this particular series.
Yeah, and I think Navi especially have been pretty. They have had plenty of opportunities to pick it up, but they just don't seem to value it all that much in terms of because Zayat sometimes I think is that kind of player, but most of the time we're looking at a real proper save plus some real proper DPS. I like the Jakiro more when given the opportunity, for example.
Navi's turn to hit.
Okay,
Okay.
shoes on the
They're
other
like,
foot.
thanks, PMA. It seems that hero's pretty strong, bro. We'll take your advice. So they're going to open that up. Could be, well, I think this one is much more likely to be for the noticed Bristleback. I can't envision Watson being like, yeah, guys, give me the carry bro.
10
That's not going to
seconds
happen.
remaining.
No, that's definitely a notice type.
5
We were talking
seconds
about how
remaining.
he loves a little bit more farm, a little bit more pressure, a little bit more of that click roll, right? So I think that as well. Now we're going to see how Navi instead is going to deal with this. How many breaks are you going to draft here? Are they going to pick up that hoodwink?
I think you kind of have to, right? Before the end of the game, I mean, Bristleback was under a lot of pressure due to that hoodwink. I think it's only when he got BKB, afterwards he felt like, okay, I can actually approach these fights somewhat.
Radiant
Beforehand, he just show up and die immediately. But they give up on that idea. Okay, now somebody has to ban hoodwink. There's Bristleback for the one squad, Timbersaw on the other. Somebody's going to get the squirrel.
Yes, undoubtedly. And it's once again one of those Navi flex picks, right? This one can technically go on all three lanes, I believe. Although
10
I think I've
remaining.
only seen got the juice end up on this once. That was a really weird
5
game.
seconds remaining.
But once again, with the flex, Timber, I'm having a little trouble, and I don't know if you feel the same about the Timbersaw, but I feel like right now, in terms of his numbers, he doesn't deal quite as much damage as you'd like him to do, and he isn't quite as tanky as you'd like him to be. And he's
Radiant
only
team
just
ban.
about underneath both of these. Like it's mostly how I feel about Void Spirit as well, who's also quite tanky and deals quite a lot of damage, but yet in both categories sometimes seems to come up, or somehow usually seems to come up a little short. Do you have the same kind of vibes here?
Yeah, I think the best word to use is like
Turn to
underwhelming,
ban.
where the hero can still be very strong in the game, but doesn't like. It's been a while since I've been blown away by a Timbersaw. Where you're like, wow,
Yes.
okay, like you might get still a great Timbersaw performance, and the player playing the Timber will look really good, but you'll still see that he's not completely taking over the game the way this hero used to be able to do. And now I feel with
10
these numbers. I
seconds
also think
remaining.
that like the itemization right now, it's a little bit rigid
5
because you do
seconds
kind of need
remaining.
Kaya Sanj to make this hero work. You probably need a
Yes.
Blink Dagger. And it's like, all right, we can play around those. We can get our breaks. We can
Navi's
get earlier
turn to
BKBs
hit.
before you're blinking on top of our faces. So I don't know. I just feel like Timbersaw numbers do need to be. Again, no, actually, no. What the hell am I saying? What are we talking about,
Yeah,
Kip?
no.
No, keep him in the dumpster. Nerf him. Actually, this should get worse.
It's interesting, right, to dig to me because for like approach
10
like from a
seconds
coaching
remaining.
perspective, you're like, okay, is this hero really worth the first pick? Because one of the things
5
that they did here, and
seconds
you see it in the
remaining.
bans now, is both of the support breaks have been removed from the pool now. So no hoodwink and no shadow demon as well. And that's the price that you pay for this Timbersaw here. Was it really going to get contested? For example, was it going to get banned out? Was there information that you would be giving away by taking the hoodwink or the shadow demon instead? I'm not sure. And in that regard, this is a question we should be asking, and not of Valve, because no, we don't
Radiant
actually want
team
those
pick.
buffs to happen. We're asking Zayats and CY right now.
Well, if your team is lacking damage, here's a solution. Putting this Warlock, get that Fatal Bonds. I will say this combination is still pretty ridiculous. The Warlock Timbersaw. Previous game, we saw how strong Warlock can be with the Bristleback, and
10
technically Timbersaw
seconds
can dish out
remaining.
more burst damage than he does. So that'll be nice to also have that additional heal with the
5
Shadow Word,
seconds
some
remaining.
combo breaking. There is still a silencer in the game if they want to play into that once more. So Yannick could decide for Malady to pick that up, but they go for the Tusk. You were asking for this in game 1, and you do finally get to have it here in game 2.
Yep, I mean the slows and the debuffs I think from the tag team are probably what we're going to be seeing here. Also, great combination with the Venomancer. I'm so traumatized by that
seconds
game
remaining.
yesterday, man. That was mid one is such a
5
bastard.
seconds remaining.
No, but great synergy between the Bristle and the Tusk. I mean, we know from the lore on that this is a potential lane that likes to scrap. And you have one of the few double melees that I actually like.
They will not get Venomancer, but there is going to be a green annoying hero coming up in the form of this Pugna. Gonna get a little bit of lane shove coming through, some additional heal for this bristleback. And you know, honestly, one of the
10
most
seconds
annoying
remaining.
things about Pugna, you know these heroes like Timbersaw, Bristleback,
5
your
seconds
Pox or whatever that
remaining.
want to be casting a bajillion spells in the fight? Yeah, good luck, buddy. I hope you enjoy yourself into that nether ward.
Yeah, maybe time to pick up that Snapfire still and get her to sacrifice herself and get that ward out of the way. Hope Melody doesn't have time to decrep it. Otherwise, though, like picking a Pugna in a game like this, you don't feel fully comfortable with it just because the decrep is, of course, not a weapon that that you can use to save all that much versus the Timbersaw.
You also get another, I like this pick of the Ursa because Ursa can do two things, right? It can be very solid against Bristleback earlier on. Later on in the game, you can buy Silver Age as Ursa, but you also happily buy yourself a Nullifier, which is going to be indispensable playing into this Nether Ward and into the Pugna in general with the decrep. So I like this Ursa. I genuinely feel, for me personally, I kind of feel like Ursa is the carry right now. Like Sven, I know gets played more often, but usually you have to ban Ursa just to be able to
10
pick up the Sven.
seconds remaining.
This bear terrifies me at the moment.
Yeah, the Sven Ursa matchup is one of the interesting ones to me, though. I've seen people, I've seen the Svens come out on top as well. But what you need to do is you need to build the Silver Edge on them and get the hit in on the Ursa early enough so that it doesn't actually build up the Fury swipes. And then the fact that you are a really high armor hero with a longer God strength lasts longer than Enrage. I know that is wild knowledge, but. So the matchup can still go either way, technically, which is I love it when you see carry to carry matchups like that.
Yandex, we're gonna have to see one of your other cores right now. Are we revealing a mid laner or are we revealing a carry for Watson? It will be a carry, so he'll pick up the Troll Warlord. One of the better matchups for sure into the Ursa.
Yep. I mean, Ursa likes the long fight. You like the long fight, and you have the added mischance as the really big bonus here in the mano a mano. Those willing
10
axes are,
seconds
and it's if you're playing it, you feel it immediately. If you're
5
casting it, it's
seconds
sometimes hard to remember that as soon as the world goes off, somebody is going to start crying.
Also gonna have some tears here for the Timber, so he's gonna get rooted in place at some point in this game, not going to be enjoying life.
First
Also,
hit.
it means that he's playing into a lane that he can't really pressure, right? Like Timber Bane, I don't really anticipate you fully pressuring Pugna, Troll, Warlord in that situation.
That is a dirty lane, and you can thank the frog on his knees that Troll Warlord's laning strength is not what it used to be. Because, yeah. That's one of the dirtier lanes in the game. I think,
10 seconds
was it with
remaining.
Complexity where we used to play Troll Nature's Prophet. And if you think about like the right click reach of a Pugna and the presence as well, it's a very similar situation. It was absolutely unbeatable. So yeah, Timber
Radiant team
most
ban.
likely going to have to live this lane. And this is one of the weaknesses, I think, of the Bane. With one of the reasons is why Zayats is one of the few players that does pick it up, is that, yeah, if you get to 1v1 bully the enemy support, sure, you're happy there. But if both the enemy laners are just laying
10
into
seconds
your core
remaining.
continuously, as a Bane, there's not much you can do about it at all.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, Yandex will be revealing our hero for Kira Jr. next. His Beastmaster's been banned, his Storm Spirit's been banned, there's no Puck in the game. So what mid heroes are still left? We still have Queen of Pain, we have that Void Spirit you talked about, but that kind of sucks. There's
Yeah,
Ember
like it.
Spirit. What else is there?
What else is there indeed?
Radiant team
Well, the Nico heroes have been taken out.
The
Oh,
Poli.
Leshrac.
Oof. Rip Timbersaw gang.
Yeah.
Good God.
Is-
There's a lot of hate for that Timber. I guess now you can't even take the option of trying to play the Timbersaw mid, right? Because we know that Nico likes to do that. You definitely are not going to
seconds
lane
remaining.
Timbersaw into Leshrac.
You are not. You're going to get melted
5
and
seconds
shoved out.
remaining.
I mean, at least your tower's not going to fall as soon as it does with the regular old Leshrac, but it's painful. Gotta say that Nullifier has become an insanely valuable pickup in this game now. Like later on, first is that Lesh as well.
Got the Juicy telling his team, I told you guys, pick Ursa. We'll make this work. So, Niku, what do you want? You get the 24 this time around. I would like to see a little bit more of Temper opening. I don't think we spoke about his weaknesses, but also he's not in the position where he can run headlong and open the fight. And that was true even before the Leshrac. Now it's doubly true at this moment.
Yep. And you need to win this lane now because you know at least one of yours is going to. I don't want to immediately announce get shat on, but
You may now select
there is
your
going to be some technical difficulties on the Na'Vi offlane. So you need somebody, and this is not. I'm sorry, this is not it. I was talking about doing well in that lane, winning that lane, generating tempo from it. This would be the first invoker in 3 weeks that I've been casting and looking now that actually wins his lane. I don't think I'd like to bet on that right now. Have you seen it?
Invoker's win lane. No, it's Invoker. Invoker is just not doing it. And it's made worse by this fact you have Warlock and Bane Elemental as your support duo. Neither of them are the heroes you expect to just show up randomly middle. You know, they can only go there and really telegraph moves. So Invoker, pretty much going to be a 1v1 type of scenario. Hell, they could bring problems through quite easily. Snowball onto him and kill him off. Opens up some space for them. Leshrac. Okay, if it's not going to be for the lane, what do you think is the rationale for the Invoker in the game overall?
I mean, the amount of delays that he offers, the mana drain, the disruption as well, versus the Troll and the Pugna is very good if you're looking at the Tornaris Invoker specifically. I don't see a lot of setup or reasoning for the Galaron here. You technically have the Bane, but you normally want at least one more combination. You'd like Sunstrike opportunities on both side lanes, right? And for more heroes than just one later in the game. So I can see the control angle, but because they are lacking big time in the AoE control in general. And if this was, let's say, a year or two ago, then I would have absolutely supported this pick. I would have said, like, yeah, hey, they're lacking an Invoker right here. He's going to make up for all the shortcomings in this draft. But with how abysmal the lanes of these Invokers have been and how they're just sitting in the background farming up their Aghanims, if Na'Vi is going to take this, it's going to have to be the same kind of scenario, I feel, almost like the last game. And that one, winning that one for Na'Vi was like pulling teeth too.
Well, we will have an opportunity to find out here as we enter into game 2. Yandex, one last opportunity for them. But in this game, got the seal of approval from Kips here, so should be in some decent stead.
But my true name of power.
On the one bright side about having this Exort Invoker, you get to the Alacrity a lot sooner to give to the Ursa.
You do? Yeah, we are going Galaron here. Well, less damage problems for your full lineup as well. But ultimately, what makes this different from the previous game is that right now the winning matchup is in Watson's hands. I think he feels very comfortable here running this into the Ursa.
There's something I just realized. Maybe Niku decided to pick it specifically because there's so few disables. He's like, guys, I want to do the skill shot Sunstrikes. We haven't seen those in a while. Mid lane, Malady gets himself Nightmare towards the enemy team, but Ridis not there in time to throw in the Blood Grenade. They don't want to hard commit. Just want to get themselves the 2 bounties, play some honest Dota perhaps.
That's for losers. Suckers and losers.
Here we go. So you wanted to hold off on talking about the lanes as such before we started off. Where do you envision the most action being lane-wise? Is it going to be top, that crazy combo with the Bristleback Tusk?
Should be, yes. But that one is also, if they're not feeling as confident, they might hold off on going in case something, if something goes wrong early, if they for some reason do not get opportunities to get at the Warlock. The pain point for Na'Vi, of course, that I expect to be happening regardless is on the bottom side. But no, the hurt starts immediately, man.
Good God. That is so obnoxious. Does at least have 5 stick charges and Ridis to heal him up, but that pressure is not going to stop. In fact, it only ramps up from here. This is the easy part of the lane gives.
Yeah, no, wait until the tag team comes in. We're gonna have a fun time. Na'Vi, your lanes.
Well, they proved in game 1 they don't need lanes to win.
Yeah. But that seems completely antithetical to the philosophy that we've seen them win most of their games with. And that I think CY from his days in gaming has brought with him as well. Not a particularly dominant way to play this video game.
See, things do change as this game extends. As bottom, Watson practically gonna free farm here. Like, your job as Ajax is just drag this creep wave away. Don't let PMA actually be in range of this troll. Just make sure the equilibrium is as close to your tower as possible. As mid lane, Chira Jr. was playing super aggressively into Niku. We've seen a lot of these Leshraks do this. Like, as soon as they get level 3, they dive you under the tower, try to force that first blood. When it happens, they generally go on to snowball and dominate the game.
Yep. So, well, first bulleted game dodged for Niku. There's a lot more coming his way. His landing pressure is not going to abate, and he has so little in the way of like a single Fort Spirit. Leshrak just takes down any help you might summon.
I have to do this through sheer lane mechanics. Now this wave is in an unfortunate position, closer to this Lesh on the high ground. So Chira Jr. will get all his farm. As Ajax doing the dutiful thing of just dragging away this wave.
I mean, it's the one saving grace here, right? Once you drag the wave away, the troll is going to be occupied with his own, and you're going to get in between the enemy support in your core usually. It's a way to avoid the dreaded double range heroes laying into your melee. And you're just only going to get half of the creep waves, but it is what it is.
Does seem like top. These supports are playing away from each other, so we're not actually seeing a lot of pressure being put onto Got the Juice. So we see this Bristleback now kind of struggling to maintain his own CS.
Yeah, Problems is playing his own game, man. Killing some couriers. He is.
Bottom. Got a bit of a context here for this Lotus pool, and they might try to jump onto the Troll Warlord. Watson, Sunstrike doesn't connect. 1 moment away, but they might still be able to find his death. PMA wants to get close with the Whirling Death. Cannot catch up to Watson, but will claim Melody's life instead. So that's first blood drawn by this Timber, and they want to go for more. Watson gonna turn around. Instead, it's a snowball TPing in. It's gonna be support from Problems. Unfortunately, though, the Ice Shards are on the other side. They push the Timber into safety, Gibbs.
Oh, that they could have brought that entire Navi movement dead in the water, and now instead you're more than happy as PMA here. And this is one of the things that happens when you don't, as this double range lane, if you don't get them low through trading, they're going to have too much HP to be afraid of you, and they can actually just spend all of that HP running after you and hitting you in the face. It's easy to feel strong when you should be winning the lane, but you haven't really been laning here.
That's true. There's a cascading effect of that move, looking towards top. Because they moved out with the Tusk to go bottom, Notice was left all by his lonesome, and he is being peppered. Already down to his final tangle right now. Can't really go much closer than this. He's playing old school Dota. Don't try not to cross the river, Magi.
Yeah, and that means that Riddi's also got a pull off that Notice is now really... Well, at least he got a couple of creeps in there, and Problems is back, so you're going to see him move up more now. And this lane bot might have been salvaged by the wave pulls. PMA doesn't even have the second point in the reactive armor because he hasn't been up in the lane all that much. The Whirling Death was just simply meant for those kills that they're getting right now.
Who needs to actually play the lane to win the lane?
Zayas gets spotted walking towards mid here.
Love to see it. Oh, that'll open up some space right now for Zayax to head middle. They want to try and catch Shiraz Jr. Hopefully bring him down before he accelerates too much. But Malady, what a response. He just shows up at the perfect time. And again, top lane. Problems was trying to drag his creep wave in to save the lane, but they end up just straight up punishing in the lane. Another kill for Got the Juice on his Ursa. Notice goes down. This Bristleback is only chilling at level 4 right now. He's having a tough time.
Yeah, and once again, things are really not going how we expected them to. Or in this case, how Yandex expected them to. They're like, oh, Navi, your lanes, this looks rough, but PMA has decided not to lane. As a result, the Tusk has been rotating as a result, the top lane is now suffering, and Problem's still only level 2. Goes fishing mid and catches nada.
Like he's staying level 2 for a little while longer. As Na'Vi, they brought in reinforcements to try and protect this. They know that they want to try and push with the Siege Dragon. Melody wants to start blasting away at the tower. They keep it alive for now, and they're running out of mana on Melody and Shiro Jr. Even a casual Sunstrike from the Invoker. He's just checking, just making sure the button still works.
Yeah, it's information. They're not there. And all that attention to mid definitely favors Navi's side lanes right now. And the fact that Niku still hasn't actually been shoved out of his lane, he hasn't died here, Kira Jr. hasn't been able to get the definitive upper hand here is a really big deal. Like compared to the Invoker games that I've seen recently, Niku is doing the Lord's work.
For sure. Building into his Hand of Midas. Unfortunately, it is an Invoker, so he's not going to be the one making moves pretty easily across the map.
That's still not going to happen.
Top lane, the move is coming from the Leshrac instead, going towards Got the Juice. They have the Decrep on top of him, so that opens up the Pulse Nova. A burst of magic damage. At the same time, they try to go onto Watson bottom, but he triggers out the ultimate, trying to at least get the lifesteal back onto PMA. Unfortunately, the Chakram just goes right through him, rips him apart, secures the 1-to-1 across the map. So both carries end up suffering, but I would grant that Yandex, because they're also going to take the tier 1 tower top in tandem with the Ursa's life.
Yep, this is a very, very Yandex rotation here. Just throw 4 men at the enemy tower and be very confident in the fact that at this early on, just the laning stage is not even over yet, technically. They're not going to react in force. They're not going to have big ults like, for example, the Warlock to stop a 4-man move like that. He preempt any opportunity from Navi to respond in kind.
Dire's structures are
Yandex and the boys building into a Lotus Orb right now for Noticed. Want to make sure that we have... What's the best thing to dispel here? Is it just going to be for the Fiend's Grip on the Bristle?
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's a bunch of the Invoker spells as well. And the Bristle really does love the extra armor as well, because you see what he's best used for, right? You run in with him, you face tank everything. He's a blunt instrument. And he, even just the Blade Gnome really enables him to go be that frontliner and give the vision for your more fragile actual DPSers. Little stack.
He might die for this though. Shiro Jr. trying to get out of here. Ridditz does not have the level 6. So unfortunately not going to be able to cancel out that TP.
Yeah, he's quite a ways off still. That top lane, even though it ended up better for the Ursa, still not exactly a pot of gold for Ridditz.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Spent a lot of time pulling in that situation. Now he's mid, just keeping Niku healthy. And Niku can finally start trying to apply pressure in the opposite direction. Now that the Leshrac isn't here, they've got the Fort Spirits and maybe even a kill. Sunstrike connects onto Melody. He will pop the Decrypt. By a little bit of time, Shiro Jr. now shows up as well. Throws out the Lightning Storm with the Pulse Nova. They have got the kill onto Melody. But will Niku escape this one? The Ice Wall will be there. They really want this Invoker. They've already brought down the Vayne, but they're too slow to move forward. Niku tosses out the Tornado, ending up in a 1-for-1 trade here in this mid lane.
Beautiful placement on that ice wall there. Like both of the enemy cores having to move as far through it as humanly possible. Saves his life right there. And that means he gets to pop that Midas.
The most important part of the fight.
Yeah, he could have died with the Midas off CD, dude. Like any Invoker player just breaks out in hives immediately.
Problems and Melody trying to forestall this push down bottom. Might cost one of them their lives. They get the Nightmare out onto Problems. He will try to snowball dodge. Still get kept connected into with the Sunstrike. And with these Fatal Bonds on top of him, they try to kill the Creep Wave to do the damage, but there is going to be the life drain heal from Melody. PMA diving past them, but they don't really want a full commit from Na'Vi. They have forced some reactions, and they still have some pressure onto the tower, so they'll take that for now.
Radiant's middle tower.
And here once again, it feels like the rotations of the Yandex supports are forced. Because the Troll Warlord, once the Timbersaw is not pushed out of the lane early, your chip damage is not going to do something to this guy in particular. You're going to lose your tower at some point. So you bring in your supports to try and reinforce that lane, try to make it hold as long as possible. But all you're doing is bringing extra heroes to a losing situation. And there's nothing to be gotten here for, especially for Problems, who has had a really, really tough Tusk game. They're gonna have to give him some priority in order to get him that Blink Dagger, and I think that they should, because we just saw the snowball, like the attempted saves versus things like the Fiend's Grip, like that Sunstrike, are going to be really necessary. So you're gonna need to give him that space, even though really somebody else, in a better life, somebody else would have gotten that farm, but he can't get the farm himself right now.
Dire are scanning.
He is posted up with Shira Jr. in this mid lane. Like they want to do something. They were hoping to maybe contest for the rune, but goes the way of Nico on the Invoker. Man, he has just drawn so much time away from them. They're just constantly sitting mid, throwing out these Force Spirits. It's basically like a middle turret. And they're going to smoke up. Him and the support want to try find somebody. Unfortunately, nobody's really presenting themselves as a juicy option. Unless the Bristleback walks too far forward here. We'll see.
I don't know if they can take the Bristle. Well, they're gonna try. Yeah.
Got the Sunstrike. They've got the Spirit Vessel. And they do have the kill in the end. Okay. Wait, was that a vessel? No. Just
No, that's not a vessel.
no vessel.
No, we're going
Wait,
straight.
yeah,
Exactly. Just because he's ghost walking around doesn't mean that he's actually got an active item build, my man. It's easy to make a mistake, to be fair. I saw him rotating and was like, yes, of course, he might have finished his vessel by now. But then I checked.
That was literally my frame of mind. I was like, there's no way he's going top without vessel, right? Nope.
Yeah, no, because the
Turns out he is.
Galerons sit mid.
Radiant's top
They
tower
put up
is under attack.
their deck
Might
chair.
die for this though.
Their
Getting jumped
feet
on.
go up.
Snowball will be there. There was a nice tornado. Caught Kira Jr. Nico will still die, but maybe Sid his team up for a great fight because they got the fatal bonds out. Kira Jr. will die to the damage of Radius. The TP out will succeed from the Tusk. We end up trading mid laners in the end. However, Yandex did commit fewer resources for that one, so they'll probably take it.
Yeah, and it got PMA off of the bot side of the map. This is positioning-wise, this is a really good move. And I've seen this more from Kira, where he's not afraid to simply throw himself into the enemy side of the map, see if he can just get a one-on-one trade, attract a lot of attention, and keep the initiative in his team's favor. That was about darn time somebody did something about that Invoker.
Radiant's
The best part
middle
about this is how
tower
much
is
space
under
Watson has now picked up. Just keep farming away. He had a really tough start to things, but now rounding the corner towards having the Yasha as the Battle Fury is flying in as we speak. So his farm is going to start ramping up. And Ursa does have a Battle Fury, yes, but Troll, what a crazy farmer Troll is. He'll definitely be able to catch up in this game.
Yes. Yes, he is. The Ursa, though, of course, activates earlier and will be buying a Blink Dagger second. At which point we might already see the bear make an appearance in these fights. And at that point, I'm going to harp on it again, because the Tusk needs to have a blink. We need to have a save versus the Fiend's Grip. We need, especially the Bristleback, who is going to, if he gets gripped, the Ursa can freely lay into him. You're going to get the Sunstrike over the top. You're going to lose out on your frontliner in a window in a game where you really need him to shield your Leshrac. And if you don't have the Blink Dagger on the Tusk, I don't think you're going to get into position for that all that often. It's for me the key item for Yandex to pick up.
He gave him a wave or two in the top side of the map. But probably needs a little bit more, like you said. Maybe spend some time in the jungle. Part of the problem is they really need this tier 1 mid. Melody just trying to get it with all his heart, but they have been holding on to this bad boy. Might be time now for it to die, though. Melody doesn't get Sunstruck, and therefore can get out the blast to bring down the tower.
That's a little bit of pressure off of their backs as well. Wave not turning at that point. And it's, once again, versus the Invoker, you kind of expected the tower to have been down already.
Hey, this time he saves himself
can
with
do
that one.
it. Yeah. He can. There's a reason why I'm focusing on Problems so much, because he has, in the good moments, he has been a standout player for Yandex. So seeing him miss there, honestly, was almost startling to me. It's not something he does. This is much more like it.
You see, got the juice starting to farm into that Blink Dagger that you mentioned. He should have it after finishing this camp. And then who has the smoke? He's sitting on the Bane Elemental. Doesn't have the Aether Lens just yet. So maybe they wait for the lens to finish first before God the Juice gets fully involved.
Radiant are stuck.
Yeah, let's see how Zayat judges his chances. It is nighttime, so this is the moment. Yeah, we're straight going.
Okay.
Through the
Oh,
portal.
coming top just as Shira's Jr. is coming through.
Yeah. And right on cue for that Ursa Blink Dagger. He got the vision. His problem is just dewarded, and here his eyes has got him. Well, you don't need the grip for that, my friend.
Damn, okay. Well, there used to be a lash track in that area, but not any longer.
Horse on
I'd
the
actually be
menu,
pretty
boys.
pissed.
Oh, there's Punch.
Oh, okay. Chaotic Offering, drop down. It's going to catch onto Problems, Notice, and Maledish. PMA trying to chase down onto this Pugna. Right? Big bounce and amplified damage. Will get himself Sunstruck and swiped in by Got the Juice. That'll be a very straightforward kill. I was about to say, I'd be mad if I was Got the Juice. Like, seriously, guys? I stopped farming to come and get this. I barely got any gold. But now they say, okay, brother, here's a free kill. It's like, okay, thank you for making it up to me.
Yannex, I mean, you have the finished Lotus Orb on that Bristle. You were positioned here. You took away the vision already. You were trying to set up camp in that jungle, and they got kicked out in force.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Quite unsure, but like maybe Notice felt safe walking up there just because the Fiend's Grip was down. But that forces his supports to come with him, and they are not safe. And now another blink on the Timbersaw.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So he does have now, we're talking about the Timbersaw's itemization earlier on, right? He always has to get this, the Blink Kaya Sanj. Now it's always about the adaptation, right? What do you think he needs next? Is we gonna go the Ags route? Are we going Shivas? Are we going into some Gleipnir that I saw the other day? What's the feeling here?
You saw Gleipnir the other day. Okay.
Yeah.
If you trust your Invoker and your Bane, I think you're mostly good on the control, especially because the enemy team really lacks it as well. We're gonna see the Axe this game for sure versus the Troll, but the thing is that the Troll is not getting involved just yet. I'm curious as well. How is he gonna go greedy then? Problems. Taking beat again. He's still struggling towards a blink. And he gets sniped.
There we go. Yet again, this Observer Ward on the ground, planted out by Zayax, created the opportunity, but Zayax is gonna pay for this with his life. Dies in the Tormi spot. So, you know, he gave to the team, he took away from the team. It is what it is, but the priority is giving Niku more farm. And he's happy on this Invoker.
Radiant's middle tower is
Yep,
under attack.
Aghanim's been up for a while. Into the Octarine now.
I'm looking at this game and I'm wondering, should Shira Jr. be prioritizing getting a BKB? Because it feels like this Leshrac is going to have major difficulties surviving most of these fights. Like, there's no Kaya Sanj. Okay, yeah, there we go. BKB queued immediately.
Yep.
I think Shira Jr. had the same thought.
No, exactly, and you don't feel the greatest about it when there's also physical burst available to deal with you. But at the very least, it's going to put a spanner into the works of the Invoker and the Timbersaw. You would just really rather that the Ursa had a much worse lane than he did. And this Timber, or this Timber. Instead, there's no good choices really for Lesh here.
Got the juice. Picks up the Aegis. First one of the game has been snagged up for the spare. MKB coming soon, so we're not going to be that worried about the mischance from the Whirling Axes. And his team is starting to get very ready to back him up. Octarine not that far away from Niku. We're going to get the Axe of PMA. I imagine they'll just use this first Aegis to sweep across the map, take down the tier 1 tower, maybe contest for the Shrine of Wisdom, get a Tormi, take the tier 2 bot, all that good stuff. At bottom, they're actually going to, in the top lane, find themselves a quick kill. Onto Notice, he got gripped, Sunstruck, and then just shredded by PMA.
Yeah, and this is a combination that doesn't really work if you're getting run at, which we've seen happen to these invokers time and again. But once you've got the enemy team on the back foot, they're split up, they're farming, this is absolutely devastating. You pop out of the trees, you smoke somebody, you disappear off the map just as quickly again. There's no response possible whatsoever. It's just too fast.
Dire's bottom tower
So this time around, Na'Vi has gone back to their roots. They're the ones that are playing fast.
is under attack.
Does Yandex, if we keep scaling this game later and later in the same fashion that Na'Vi did in game 1, what are Yandex's prospects of actually coming back here?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I think they have the solid matchup for it. This is Troll, right? I think the problem is here that currently all three of Navi's cores are scaling. And especially your Leshrac just feels like a sore spot that Na'Vi, if they want to, they can just put the finger on that bruise. They have links on 2 cores. And that's a physical damage dealer and a magical / pure damage dealer. So what are you gonna do? You're just gonna buy a Yules as well on that Lesh then? Are you going to go Wind Waker after your BKB? Where's your damage gonna be?
Yeah.
Radiant
Well, maybe
are
he's looking
scanning.
towards Notice and saying, you know how Kuroki was saying at TI? Just play like Seb. He's like, Notice, bro, just play like PMA. Do what he did. Please win us the game, bro.
Let's see, well, notice bringing in the Aghanim's Shard. So optimizing for as much output as possible. And if these fights last long, if Na'Vi doesn't get the burst off, or if they burst wrong targets, if Yandex manages to utilize buybacks effectively, that is something that versus these bursty lamps, yeah, once the Sunstrike has been spent or the Cataclysm, once the Fiend's Rep is over, if you simply buyback, you could turn a fight. So there are options here for Yandex. And their vision game also has been really good still. Like, they've always managed to persistently have wards in the enemy jungle. Currently their triangle is completely free of enemy vision as well. So Na'Vi not quite able to properly choke them out just yet.
See a smoke up right now by PMA with this Zayax Bane. They see Notice, they burst down Malady really quickly from PMA, and now with the full combo coming onto Notice, not there just yet. Zayax able to get the Nightmare out. They've already committed the Cataclysm. PMA though does have Whirling Death. 1 more second for the Timber Chain. There's the Chakram, but he's far enough away to get out. Problems was there on hand just in case to throw in a snowball. Will suffer some damage of his own in the process. We'll see if he gets out of here, how greedy PMA gets.
Under attack.
PMA will let cooler heads prevail. Will decide to back.
The fact that he gets forced back though does mean that that triangle that I previously talked about having been secured is now being colonized by the enemy.
Bottom lane, they found Niku. Niku was trying to just farm this wave, but they just caught him. Niku came through onto the creep using the bots. Got the juice, was right on the other side. Chira Jr. at first thought that he was the one playing onto Niku, but turned out to be the other way around.
When the Bamboozler gets bamboozled. So that was information of 2 cores bots, so they're going on mid.
They commit the chaotic offering to get this turnaround. PMA! Absolutely burst problems. Watson's already down to half HP. Tornado catches both him and the Bristleback. The meatball falls on top of their heads. 1 is down. Malady trying to get himself out of here. At least make space for the Bristle. He will die for sure. And Bristleback also gets caught with the Nightmare. He's being dragged back in. But the Juice has his blink in 1 second. Gonna go right in front of the Bristle. Or maybe even just lead him, eh? Here he comes, swiping through him. They find the kill. It's another core down. Chira Jr. respawns just in time to watch his entire team crumbling before his eyes.
Pain and suffering. It is a logical moment to go, right? Okay, we have information, 2 of the cores are bought, it's gonna take them a couple of seconds to get here. The problem is that you are not a burst damage lineup. Your best option is the Leshrac, but the Lesh is the one who's dead. So instead, yeah, you're laying into some poor support with a Bristleback and a Troll, and you're just not getting him in time, especially not when you get the Golem dropped on your head. It's on paper the right move, but in practice the circumstances were actually not there, and that's a grave miscalculation.
Well, given over quite a lot. For Basher, fully complete for Got the Juice. BKB now up for the Timber Saw. Full Octarine available for Niku. He just picked that up from the Secret Shop. And another tower being grabbed by the Forge Spirits. So more map control. It's an 18,000 gold lead here in this game. And unfortunately, like you mentioned, because you're not a burst lineup, I'm not expecting, you know, Watson to just blink in 2 and 3 shot one of the big cores. They're still going to have to contend with these elongated fights.
Exactly. It's why I like bringing up the Daedalus as a potential turning point of the game every single time. It's all about man advantage in those scenarios, especially when you're behind. You're taking all that experience, all those spells, all those items that the heroes have gathered. You're taking them all off the field, and perhaps then after you have a shot at a larger fight. And that option, I don't want to say that it's completely absent for the side of Yandex here, because they do have a Leshrac. He does have a BKB right now as well. If you're willing to just throw him into the fray, and Kira Jr. is he knows what's up, then you do have a possibility. So here, then.
We're gonna try and bring down Zayax first and foremost, and the Bane Elemental doesn't fall, but eventually will die. Unfortunately, Kira Jr. will be also able to chase onto Riddits. That is another kill for them. Problems will lose his life on the high ground, Kira, but they're chasing after them. Yandex don't want to give this fight up, but all of a sudden, they're getting bled away on their support. PMA is putting in too much long-range damage. Got the juice, considering a re-engage. He jumps in, Watson able to get himself away for a little while. And noticed, although he got caught by the tornado, still not a juicy target, so they'll allow him to live. Ends up being a 2-2 trade, but given the conditions of this game, Yandex will definitely take it.
Absolutely, and the fact that with the 3 cores there, they end up in this choke point up versus an Invoker, and they get to walk away with their lives there is pretty significant as well. Gotta say though, there was a Warlock without a Golem. That's back up. And I think that Navi's just immediately going to press the pedal to the metal again.
I'd have Roshan again in about 30 seconds. We'll see how much they prioritize that. Top lane, Niku and got the juice. Protecting one another. As soon as he starts getting slowed down, he's like, I think there's a Ghost Walked Invoker here. We should probably back off, boys.
Yeah.
Here's this fight again. Good initial grip, but Problems says absolutely not. Cancels it immediately.
Blink Dagger. It was so necessary. But of course, since you are the first jump in there, I mean that technically it's reactive, right? But the Leshrac definitely does not want to be tanking any of the first attention as well. The Tusk really, you're going to get to do either. Either you cancel the grip, or you're going to save somebody from whatever spells Nico is throwing at you, but you're almost never going to be able to do both.
One thing we also saw in that fight is if Na'Vi wasn't split up in that fashion, like if their supports were also on the high ground with the cores, would have been a very different situation. But Yandex played it to the edges, and they also picked up a BKB now on Shira Jr. that we saw in that fight. So allows him to actually be involved in that first salvo. Of course, he can still get gripped, he can still get golemed, but at the very least, he doesn't just get sneezed at by Invoker and die in the blink of an eye. Do you think Bristleback is sneezing when he casts Not?
Roche respawning. I wonder if we're going to see that. Navi's not really on the warpath currently. I think they're pretty confident in their ability to fight in the pit if necessary. My question is if Yandex want to do anything desperate in order to avoid the second Aegis from going into the Ursa's pockets.
Oh, Roshan is up, ready for the taking from anybody. So it all depends on how they want to approach the upcoming fight. They don't have the best vision in the area right now. They do still have their outpost, and they still have, what, 2 minutes.
PMA tried his BKB right now. Just to see
Oh,
if,
no.
Yeah. Good old Chinese BKB.
Oh, no. Well, just making sure it works. He's just hoping that nobody actually scouted that out while it's happening.
Mm-hmm. I think you get a long way with pretending, but I gotta say the vision has been really good from Yandex so far, so he might be a little nervous. I wonder if that's behind, because we were thinking, okay, so now you march into the pit, right? But they retreated pretty far first.
They're coming now, though. They're smoked up. There are a lot of them. PMA is the only one visible, but he'll join the crew as well. Got the Juice, has his full BKB, MKB, Basher, Aghanim Shot, and a Gale Guard going. They'd love to find a quick pick off and transition that into the Roshan. Looks like Yandex, though, is not obliging them. After their smoke failed, they immediately back inside the base. Not a moment too soon because there was an observer ward, but Chira Jr. he didn't back. The Leshrac stayed outside. Oh no.
Worst one.
Ladies and gentlemen, your parents were not correct. Do not play outside. It's dangerous for your health. The Leshrac just found that out.
Yeah, Cars, I believe it is. He just got flattened. Yeah, well, that is the Roche for free now. No more worries. Just got one out of the way.
He's still coming to this though.
I just troll Warlord. Yeah, because once you let this go to the set piece battle on the high ground.
The Juice did get the Aegis. Now he wants to try and get some hero kills as well. Jumps in towards Watson. Watson will be able to pop the Whirling Axis, but he's underneath the Chakram and an Alacrity. We're gonna hit him with the Cataclysm. He is just down for the count. Can't do anything on Watson. Malady will try his best to emerge from this, but he's inside an ice wall, been tornadoed into the air. They give up the kill to Got the Juice. Now he's on an unstoppable streak on his bear. And Watson, he couldn't get off his BKB. He was just chain disabled and he gets bursted from the heavens by the Invoker.
Yeah, and he bought out for that. I've been looking at him and it's like he's so far behind. Can he get a turnaround item? But you're a troll warlord. You're made out of having more items than the enemy, out of, you know, building up more momentum than the enemy, and he's absolutely not in the driver's seat right now. So the fact that he doesn't even get off the BKB that he spent all of this time building up, is just the icing on the cake. Happy birthday.
Now they jump forward. It's going to be a snowball save from Problems. That's the only thing keeping the Bristle alive. And instead, they turn around and burst into the Ursa. Life number 1 has been taken away. He swaps back in his BKB, going forward, trying to look towards the Bristleback. They've already killed Problems, who buys back without hesitation. Sunstrike misses on the Bristle. Almost had him. At the same time, though, the space has been opened up. They want the barracks. Chira Jr. jumping forward, trying to dissuade them from this. Watson getting Nightmare to the low ground, now getting hexed as well. They're not going to jump onto him just yet, though. He will help destroy the Roshan's banner, and they'll protect the melee barracks for now. We'll see if Na'Vi decide to retreat, and they will call it. We will come back another day, perhaps with the 3rd Aegis in tow.
Yeah, I mean, knowing Na'Vi, they'd really rather not wait that long, but you're correct that this is about losing the Aegis on the Ursa a little earlier than they would have wanted, but there finally is a brilliant snowball save that gets the Ursa to overcommit, and now pushing it. If you're Tusk guys right now.
Smoke breaks, they're going in onto Watson. He's the one that got hexed up. There's a BKB from PMA as well. Got the Juice, he finds Lesh. They shred through the Rainbow Pony. And now they potentially isolated Noticed. He needs his team to help. Watson, this time around, does have the BKB going, moving forward, trying to catch up to Niku, but he can't get him. They don't have the reveal. Now, though, he's man fighting up against Got the Juice, gets tornadoed into the air. There's the Cataclysm as well. These heroes are all falling so low. Hex onto Watson, shredding claws onto Bristleback. Both of them are dead. Second game is over. GG, well played is called. Na'Vi secure the 2-0 victory and earn themselves a spot at Blast Slam Season 5. What a performance from the Yellow Boys.
This one was dominant, and I think we're seeing why sometimes Na'Vi is quite greedy on these lanes, because as it turns out, they do have the tricks in their pockets to get away with it. And once they do start building that momentum, this is the kind of dominance that we've seen from them throughout, not just this qualifier, but a whole lot of others.
Really incredible stuff from Na'Vi, honestly. Like, they did everything right from the laning phase, like you mentioned. The pulling that they did down bottom with PMA and Zayac, ensuring that they created enough chaos to drag the Tusk away from top. All of a sudden, Got the Juice in them are putting pressure onto the Bristleback lane, which was supposed to be pressuring them. And then, with all of that space being made, Tusk isn't going mid anymore. Niku can just stand there, defend the tower forever. So Leshrac feels like he's not doing much on the map. This was very, very clean. I feel like CY is going to be having a hard coaching session, because really, what else can you tell them to do differently? It's like, guys, just do that again. We'll keep winning.
Just do that again. Yeah, and for me, what really stands out for Yandex here is that as soon as their 4-man doesn't really get going, and especially if Problems doesn't seem to have a game, it feels like they fall apart a little bit, and they could have definitely prioritized him more, I think, in order to maybe get more turning opportunities. Because we see the the real a real difference making save only all the way at the end, just to take down that Aegis from the Ursa.
Mm. Yeah, very unfortunate. It took that long for him to start really having his impact be felt, but nonetheless, there will be another opportunity for him in the future, I imagine. For now, we just celebrate Na'Vi as they will follow up Miles' qualification from yesterday. Kind of makes sense that the two teams who arrived first in the upper bracket final are the two teams that qualified in the end, right? The question though is, Kips, now that they have qualified, right? This is the easy work that's done. You're going now to Blast Slam Season 5. You're playing up against your Tundras, your TI champions Falcons, your Parivisions, your Team Spirits, your Team Liquids. Talk to me about how well do you think these squads are going to fare in a big LAN environment?
I think both of them have a certain mental advantage, at very least, in the way that both of them are still building, right? Mouse and Navi both have a very clear identity. And Navi can say, "Hey, our players are still young. We're still working on this." That they might have higher expectations, honestly, than Mouse initially, because Mouse still freshly put together in that regard, whereas Navi has been together for a long time. But both of them play really high risk, high reward Dota currently, and that's always going to give you a shot. So I think both of these teams are absolutely capable at proving themselves to be among the teams that might just have to be invited next time around, which is always a good case to be making for yourself.
It's always very exciting to go from a regularly qualifying team to everybody just putting respect on your name and saying, just come through.
Yes.
You know, Parivision did that a few seasons ago, earned that respect. Now you'll never see them in a qualifier ever again. We'll see if Na'Vi can do so and ensure that they get the direct invites to all upcoming lands. With that, though, we have now concluded all of the action, so all that is remaining is still 2 more regions. Not all of the teams have been determined yet. We still have the Americas to run through, and we still, of course, have China to go and see what's going to be happening from that region. Once we have all 12 teams, then we will be having the LAN finals at the end of November in Chengdu in China. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure to remember, have a positive mental attitude about the game, regardless of how the actual game itself goes. Make sure that you are following the channel here from RAC. And most importantly, drink water, call your mom, let her know how much you love Dota, and let her know how much it means to you that we can all share this wonderful game together. Ms. Kips, thank you so much for your efforts. You at home, thank you for your attention. Until next time, we're done. We'll see you in Chengdu.
The new breakthrough, an innovative phone with 1xBet app. With 1xBet app, you can register and start betting in just 1 click. Intuitive interface and thousands of sports events every day. User-friendly app. Big wins, fast payouts.